2 woohoos. Woohoo! The Cindy Laurie piece should take 30 minutes or so, and we're friggin' done with the chickies. Number 2, that will be about 60 out of 70 pages that have been performed live. So, how long? 2 more hours of this shit, and we ought to be completely freaking done. Okay. Oh, 2 visuals. What is with the black t-shirt I'm wearing regularly on these? I'll be right back. I alternate between 3s and 4s on sneezes. That black t-shirt I got as a present for a gal named Barb that I had 3 dates with, 70 years old, a little older than me, not much. Ton of fun, having a great time. And then she was slowly letting me know that she knew damn near nothing about computers and smartphones. She had never Googled. What? And on her smartphone, she didn't know how to retrieve email. No disrespect, but ignorance is fine, but I kind of get to pick my areas you can be ignorant. Ignorant is not a dirty word, by the way. Everyone is ignorant. Ignorant merely means you don't know something. Nothing wrong with that. Nobody knows everything. If I ask you about Byzantine art, my guess is you'd be ignorant. In that, me too. So, Barb, on date number 2 or 3, made a comment that at age 70, if I saw her naked, she looks like a Shar-Pei. A Shar-Pei is a dog that its coat is just all wrinkles. Cute dog, but different. So, Barb the Shar-Pei, I bought this t-shirt for as a yuck, and I decided I'm not giving that to her now. Okay, the other is, Pappy, what is going on with these 2 scab-like strictures? The answer is, I washed my face. I bleed so easily everywhere that this crap is going on all the time. So that's what that is. And aren't you happy I shared? Okay. Cindy had, we're gonna wrap Cindy, go to Lori. Cindy had 2 incredibly famous, just nasty or I don't want you in my life comments. We're sitting at the dinner table one night talking about concerts. I've been to a few. She's been to fewer. And I asked her if there was one concert and only one you could go to, what is it? She said, Fleetwood Mac. Pretty good answer. I said, ooh, I would die to see Fleetwood Mac. And she said, well, yeah, but I mean, are they ever going to come to Omaha? And I say, Cindy, that has nothing to do with it. We just need to see if they're touring. And if they are, go somewhere. So, what the heck? I had no idea that they were touring. And we looked at plane connections and such and decided to fly into New York City LaGuardia Airport, where I had flown numerous times, and take a train across the Hudson River to Newark, New Jersey, the Prudential Center, which was having the concert. So we did that. And during the concert, which was fabulous if you're our age, you grew up with them. During the concert, probably for the first time in my life, I'm standing up and I'm singing every freaking song. And when I say first time in my life, it has been documented that I fell asleep during Bruce Springsteen and during Tom Petty. The gals I was with just woke me up. What in the hell are you doing? And if I wasn't sleeping, I just sit there like a mummy. I'm here to listen to the music, not to do bad dancing. But with Fleetwood, I'm standing up, I'm dancing, I'm singing. We get all done. I'm like on a high. What an experience. And I asked Cindy, so what did you think, hon? Did you love it? And she says, well, I would have loved it a whole lot more if you didn't sing through the whole thing. I came to listen to them. And then the follow-up, and this would have been probably 2 months before I said, I've had enough. We're in New Orleans at a nice restaurant. It's Cindy's annual bankers convention. And we're talking. And we're talking about the state of our relationship. And I'm saying, Cindy, with each passing month, it seems like you have something new to do on your own, thus excluding me. And she says the famous words, I give you Saturday night. Like it was a privilege to get 3 or 4 hours a week with my wife. So that's famous. And then the other thing, in hindsight, looking back, I should have had that marriage annulled 4 days into it. Why? We traveled 75 to 100 nights before we got married. Well, that's a hell of a lot. We were together 2.5 years, engaged one of those, before we got married and lived together. Well, and I wasn't using a CPAP machine back then, so I was snoring. That means she had slept beside me for 75 to 100 nights while I'm snoring. We're in the Wahoo house. It's night 4 of the marriage. About 15, 20 minutes into it, Cindy goes, I can't take it. What? I cannot listen to your snoring. I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning, and you're going to keep me awake all night. I was dumbstruck. What I'm thinking, of course, is, what in the hell? We've been together 75 to 100 nights. How can you now say this? She takes off for the other bedroom. I swear to you, I was awake all night debating whether I should end it before it gets worse. Because good God, what else is gonna change? I won't go through the list of what changed, but it was incredible. I'll give you one only to just scratch the surface. She told me Cindy, cannot go out from Sunday night through Thursday night because I have to be up at 5:30 the next morning. But I can go to every one of my grandkids' sporting events. I can go to every one of my grandkids' programs, like Christmas programs. I can go out to eat with my daughters. I can go to the Phantom of the Opera with my daughter, Kristen, and on and on. I'll give you just that one. We got engaged, as I've said, Rockefeller Plaza, ice rink, midnight plus 1 minute, the anniversary of 1 year from our first date. 1 year, the whole family is HOHL was their name, not WHOLE. By the way, her brother, Greg, what was his nickname in college? And his wife told me this and told me, please don't let him know I told you. His nickname was Butt Hole. Does it get any better? So it's Thanksgiving and everybody has to bring something. I have a little thought and I say, I'll bring the soup. Homemade, of course. So I go to Hy-Vee and I get like 8 cans, big cans, of chunky, cheesy hamburger soup. And the hamburger was these circular things of burger, and then in like a cheese base. I bring that, and nobody, Cindy included, has a clue that it's Campbell's. So everybody ate it and raved about it, how good it was. Wow, can you cook, Phil? Like 2 years later, I told her brother, and you should have seen the look on his face. Like, you complete piece of crap. Cindy and I had probably gone out for a month, and she was at that annual banking convention, which was in Orlando. I decided, what the hell? I'll fly to Orlando and surprise her and the fam. So I did. Her mom and dad, who I just loved them, couldn't have been more shocked nor more pleased that this lunatic got on a plane. Wicked, the Broadway show. I was lining up tickets to Wicked, and Cindy goes, you want to see that again? and aren't there other shows we can see? And I go, what do you mean again? I've never seen it. You've seen it before? And she goes, I've seen it with you. What? I get tickets to Wicked. We're sitting there before the curtain goes up. And Wicked is about the Wizard of Oz, and it's one of the wicked, what's the word? Witches. One of the wicked witches is what it's about. And they had this huge canvas covering the stage, and in Kansas, the canvas is the land of Oz and all the roads and one thing or another. And I look at this and suddenly I realize I've seen this before. So I turn to Cindy and go, have I already seen this? I know this thing straight in front of me. And I realized I must have slept through the whole thing. I threw huge money into 3 houses. The Wahoo house quickly knocked over the neighbor's house, which was rife with mold, which everybody went over there like the night before it was going to be raised, R-A-Z-E-D. And we like took baseball bats to everything. Go into the kitchen, just knock the crap out of the cabinets. God, that was fun. We also had silly string, and we're just spraying each other and sticking to things. Woo! So, knock over the house, that costs some money. Have the house raised. Build on a 3-car garage tandem, because she had what purported to be a 2-car garage, which was 7,000 years old, and you had this much room to get out of your car. And I said, well, that's fine if you have 1 car, not necessarily 2, and it wasn't attached. I'm way too spoiled for that. So we put up a breezeway to connect the house to the garage. We built that 3-car garage. We landscaped that thing to the nines. That was redo number 1. Redo number 2. Oh, wait. Before the Wahoo thing, I lived downtown in the old market area of Omaha. And it was 45 minutes from there to Wahoo. I decided that would be a crummy thing to do to her. She lived literally 2 blocks from the bank in the house that I eventually moved into with her. So the options were for her to walk for 2 minutes or drive for 45. I didn't think that was the right thing to do, so I sold the Soma Row house. One little problem: I happened to buy it at the peak of the real estate market. Omaha real estate had never been more expensive. Then the market crashed, and I lost a 6-figure number when I sold it. Then I go to Wahoo, I pump a six-figure number into that house, which increases its appraised value, get ready, $25,000. Number three, we had that beautiful house on Timber Lodge, my third house there. I had the one with the 2 beds, 2 baths, the first one there. Fifi and I lived in a 3-bed, 2-bath, 3-car garage place. Beautiful, all wood on the inside. Beautiful, beautiful. And then down the road a little bit, the realtor that sold us the Fifi house called me up and said, I have the best house on the lake. We go through it. She opens the front door and I literally say, we'll buy it. The first room would be Cindy's painting studio and all wood, and it was called Bird's Eye Birch, I think. Bird's Eye because in the wood it had these black dots. No pattern, just totally random, like nature made it. And I looked at that and it told me all I needed to know about the house. It was gonna be beautiful. So we walked through, it was beautiful, we bought it. It had one real bedroom, like a master bedroom. And then it had like an 8 by 10, felt like closet. No window, just kind of a throwaway room, and that was a second bedroom. Well, that would probably be Phil's bedroom. And spoiled Phil said, eh. So, over the course of 9 months, we totally rebuilt that thing, made it a real 3-bed, brand new 2-car garage, redid one of the bathrooms. The exterior was nuts. One more 6-figure improvement, the largest one. That was a beautiful place. 2 favorite houses, that one and my Soma row house. And when I hit the lottery, which obviously I will, I'm buying them both back. Cindy used to take painting classes. She was switching from a realism mode to impressionism. So she was going to these week-long classes, and now to say I was one was on Mackinac Island in Michigan. One was in the hills of northern Maine. Once again, what a life. Humorous. When I was 10, I mentioned during the Phil's life portion of this thing, when I was young, that when I was 10, 5th grade, I did my famous jug poem. Jug, jug, juggernaut, how many jugs have you got? I signed it Homer the Poemer, Poemer. And so when I started writing poems to Cindy, 212 of them, she, first time ever, wrote back. And she was a great writer. Smarter than hell, great writer. And a damn good rhymer. All of a sudden one day, and we were 3 years or so into the marriage, 6 years into the relationship, one day she tells me, I am so busy at work, I don't have time to do any more Homerous poems. I was Homer, she was Homeress, the feminine version. One more indicator. Jesus, woman, you're talking 15 minutes, half an hour to crank one of these out, maybe weekly, but I don't have time for that, Phil. One thing I will hand her, she continued the tradition that Roxy and I started of butt shots. The most famous of which is at Mount Rushmore at night. The 4 guys are illuminated, and the Visitors Center had a big veranda for people to look at that rock carving. And I went out and leaned over the railing and dropped my drawers just below butt level. I didn't want to show leg. And boop, a picture. There are a dozen of those floating around. Enjoy yourself. Cindy played piano up to the age of 12. Played it beautifully. So Phil bought her a piano one Christmas. She played clarinet in her high school band. Played it beautifully. First chair, entered and won competitions, etc. Didn't buy her a new clarinet, had her old one rebuilt and presented it to her. That she never touched. Kind of pissed me off, but my fault. I should have asked, would you ever play it? Because she said, those days are behind me. Then, one that in hindsight was a bad thing, I bought her the world's finest computerized sewing machine. And she took up doing quilts. And the quilts turned into Sunday, or Sunday turned into quilt day. And more time away from Phil. I must be the most boring guy on earth. Or why would this be happening? Okay, last sign of trouble, and then I'll tell you where Cindy and I travel. When we redid that last beautiful lake house, it had big picture windows overlooking my lake, which is more like a pond. And I bought us a little 18-inch diameter round wooden table. And on each side of it, I bought very comfortable chairs, and instead of being turned toward the great room, they were turned toward the lake. So so we could sit there and look at the lake. Well, that, like every old fart couple like us told us, that is the best thing we've heard of for communication. The best. Because on Friday night, she'd get back from work 4:30 or so, do a little unwinding. At 5:30, we would break open a bottle of wine and we'd drink that baby and shoot the crap. And that was every Friday night. And if we weren't out of things to talk about, we'd open a second bottle and kill that baby. One day, so, I mean, that was like the couple's highlight of the week. One day she comes home and she says, I want to start lifting weights. Good for you. That'll be great for you. And she says, and I'm looking at my schedule, and I want to do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday from like 5 to 6. Figure I come home at 6:30, take the shower, be done about 6:30, cook dinner. And she asked, is that okay with you? Now, I've told you I had a real problem with confrontation. What I should have said is, are you fucking kidding me? That is getting to be the only time I get your undivided attention, because Friday night, 5 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So hell no, find a different time. Do it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, for God's sake. Well, that didn't occur to her. So she did her weightlifting Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Do you see a marriage that's dying? Okay, places we went. Estes Park, Colorado, Phoenix, Cape Cod, a Caribbean cruise. In Oklahoma City, the Murrah Building Memorial, where the explosion was. Nashville, Yellowstone, 2 weeks in Hawaii, 1 week of convention, 1 week before it. In Kearney, the Roe Sanctuary, Sandhills Cranes, not my first time. The San Diego and Cabo cruise with Adam and La, the Black Hills Mount Rushmore, the Kansas City Power and Light District and Country Club Plaza, Rocky Mountain National Park. We went and saw Nikki Morrison, Steph's kid, play volleyball in St. Louis. We went to Vegas with J&M, during which they said, this is the last time we're going anywhere, which proved true. Went to Tampa to see Shannon Clemens, Key West, San Francisco lunch. Went to Minneapolis. She met Skip and Mary, which, by the way, was a really big thing for her to do. That's Fifi's relatives. While we were there, she lit up a doobie provided by Skip. we went to Seattle, which was separate from Alaska Cruise number 2. We flew home early